はい。
Welcome to Season 2, Episode 3 of Yuzuru Hanyu is My Emergency Contact, the FanyuFanme podcast. I hope everyone had a wonderful New Year's Eve. As for me, I brought in the new year with hours of Yuzu. By the time the clock hit 11:11, I mean midnight, I shouted, "Happy Yuzuru Hanyu!" and threw 2 handfuls of shaved ice in the air. Let's be honest, midnight is overrated. The Fanyus know 11:11 is where it's at. 2022 was a monumental year to be a Fanyu. We experienced Yuzu's 3rd Olympics, a legendary 4-city Fantasy on Ice tour, Yuzu's professional athlete announcement, share practice, prologue, and Yuzu finally finding the key we had left under the doormat for him to join us on social media. And now here we are, less than 2 months away from Yuzu taking over the Tokyo Dome for us. But before we move on to Gift, we need to give a little more love to Prologue, the origin of Yuzu's solo ice shows. Then, since Yuzu doesn't seem to think he's busy enough preparing for a historic one-night-only figure skating show that only Yuzuru Hanyu can perform, we'll cover all, or at least some, of the other things Yuzu has been up to in yet another edition of Hayaku Fanyu, the segment which tries, though still doesn't manage, to keep up with Yuzu. But first, I can't think of any better way to kick off another amazing year as a Fanyu than with Wild Yuzu.
せーの、はい。
Wild Yuzu. Sometimes you get ethereal cherry blossom Yuzu. Sometimes you get UA professional athlete Yuzu. Sometimes you get shiny leather blinding Yuzu. And then sometimes, when you least expect it, you get pure, raw, wild Yuzu. And that's when you know it's day 3 of Prologue Hachinohe. Yuzu said himself in an interview following the performance that he had been fired up. And we should have known from the first moment he appeared. Yuzu's pre-SEIMEI attitude was electric. For real. We got somewhere around 4 shoe paws in a row, and Stunt Pooh-san got an extra palm to the face. As Yuzu took his place to start the program, he had the raw energy of a thoroughbred being put in the gate before the Kentucky Derby. Someone open the gate and let him out, because he is ready to throw down the SEIMEI of all SEIMEIs. During the show, I had jotted down notes of the key Yuzu moments that I wanted to comment on, of course while never taking my eyes from the screen. The next day, much like open kitchen cabinets and dishes in unusual places following Apocalypse on Ice Makahari, I was amused to look back at what I had scribbled in the dark as I sat in front of my TV experiencing Hanyupathy. I couldn't help but laugh when I saw scrolled across the page in giant, sloppy letters, "The Foot Stomps." It was underlined 3 times. Yeah, that moment might have done something for me. Years from now, Fanyus still won't be over those pre-SEIMEI stomps. They will be right up there with the first backlit silhouette of Blinding Lights, the first Ice Kiss Hydroblade of Haru Yokoi, and the first Did He Fall? No, he's supposed to be rolling around on the ice doing that. In Raison. I have seen SEIMEI performance upon SEIMEI performance, though not in person. That's what the unused Worlds 2020 Montreal ticket never fails to remind me. But it only took one time for me to proclaim the Prologue Hachinohe SEIMEI as the greatest SEIMEI performance I have ever witnessed. Of course, they have been record-setting. I'm looking at you, Barcelona. Of course, they have been legendary in history and pure exuberance. I'm looking at you, Pyeongchang. Of course, they have been magical. I'm looking at you. All of them. But there was just something about the musicality of this particular SEIMEI which left me enraptured, enchanted, and in love. Yuzu wasn't listening to the music was listening to Yuzu, and thinking, this guy is my favorite song. I almost believed that if Yuzu didn't physically accentuate the note in the music, it wouldn't have happened. Yuzu, you say you want to improve at dance. That performance was one of the most incredible dances I have ever seen. And when I say one of, it is because I have to include all the other programs you have been dancing for years. When someone spontaneously applauds because of your musicality, you're a dancer. Wild Yuzu stayed with us through change, and I even started to wonder if he was going to offer us blinding lights as a bangle color option. I can just imagine what that would have looked like.
せーの、はい。
And the entire arena would have been one giant blinding light. News reports would have proclaimed, from space, you can now see the Great Wall of China and the Fanyu's love for Yuzu's blinding lights. Of course, after the program, you wouldn't have seen any of the lights, because everyone would have been passed out on the floor with their lights hidden under their crumpled banners. Even though Yuzu didn't give us blinding lights, I sort of love that he kind of pretends that never happened. Another once-in-a-lifetime Yuzu eclipse. He did, once again, give us so many other wonderfully unexpected but incredibly satisfying new Yuzu moments. Scatting Yuzu. I loved witnessing Yuzu describing the starting point in his programs to the show technicians. We got the Let's Go Crazy scat in Yokohama. Hachinohe gave us the Sing 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 rendition.
もうちょい前かな。
I wish we could hear Yuzu perform all his programs like this. Put it this way, a character in a Hallmark Christmas movie once said, a truly perfect present is the one you didn't know you wanted, but upon receiving, you realize you couldn't live without. Thank you for that truly perfect present, Yuzu. White hoodie Yuzu. He's just putting on a sweatshirt and then taking it back off later. Millions of people do that a million times a day. But when Yuzu does it, I want to make sure someone has it captured in 4K for posterity. He also did this while skating and holding a microphone, so that increases the GOE. But I forget. We don't care about GOE anymore. Transparent Yuzu. By the time we reached the end of the show, I'm not sure even Yuzu knew what emotion he wanted to feel. In fact, he may have been experiencing his very own version of Hanyupathy, and he took us on the entire ride with him. I'm nervous now, I'm shocked now, I'm tired now, I'm laughing now, I'm crying, no, I'm laughing, no, I'm crying. I think it's because he knew what he was getting ready to do, which Yuzu always does. He knew he was going to blow our minds with 2 words, Tokyo Domu. Every eye glimmer, every arm presented out to the side, every fake exit, he knew he had something special up his white Prologue T-short sleeve. I am so proud that our one lone, sheepish, goat-ish Yuzu is going to sell out the entire Tokyo Dome. In fact, I saw an article in the Mainichi Shimbun announcing Yuzu's show. The photo was of an innocent, grinning, share practice Yuzu clutching stunt Pooh-san. The juxtaposition, I'll learn how to say that in Japanese on Pimsleur Disc 27, between the epicness of the headline and the sweetness of the photo reminded me of a fake newspaper your parents would have had made for you as a kid. Little Jimmy hits grand slam in World Series 2040. Little Susie becomes first astronaut to land on Mars. And now, little Yuzu sells out the Tokyo Dome by figure skating. So it's no wonder why Wild Yuzu hasn't stopped since he made his final Prologue real exit, albeit with a swagger. It was there, Yuzu. We saw it. I think Yuzu is hopped up on freedom. Almost every day, there is something new. Sometimes I worry that Yuzu thinks he needs to do everything for everyone while publishing another book. And while I also worry he isn't taking enough time for himself, we will wait for you, Yuzu. If you want to take a week, a day, an hour off, I think he's just a kid in a candy store who wants to try all the flavors because he finally can. Best of all, he wants to share them all with us. When I said I can't keep up with Yuzu, he said, well, you better try. Don't worry, Yuzu. We'll keep up, especially now that we're all on this sugar high. And when you appear at the Tokyo Dome, it will be all of us who will go wild with you.
完成です。
When I launched the Hayaku Fanyu segment in the first episode of Season 2, I didn't intend on it being a segment in every episode. But since Yuzu gives us something new to talk about every day, I haven't had much choice. To be honest, I could just rename this segment FanyuFanme Clears Out the Notes section of her iPhone. So here we go again! 30 seconds per topic, which back in Yuzu days of yore would have each been their own podcast. We are living in a glorious Fanyu time.
早い。
Yuzu told the Fanyus to pack a sweater. It seems unrealistic to think Yuzu was the one making sure everyone knew it was going to be cold in Hachinohe's venue. Then again, it was his party. This also could have just been a fair warning that we weren't going to get a bunch of ab shots like we did at the sweltering Fantasy on Ice venues. That's okay, Yuzu. You could have done the whole show in your Prologue hoodie. Assuming you were able to get one shipped before March of 2023. Yuzu's no bad side. People will often refer to having a good side when taking photos. Sekisei's breathtakingly stunning CM of Yuzu with the mirror proved that all his sides are good. You can take his photo from 360 degrees and each one will be print ready. I imagine Yuzu gazing into the mirror and saying, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest?" Us! The mirror would interrupt, "It's us, Yuzu!" Yuzu's thoughtful gift goods. When the official gift goods were released, we all melted at Yuzu's thoughtful selection of items for the Fanyus going to the Tokyo Dome. Jacket? Yes. Binoculars? Yes. Flag? Yes. Wavy? Yes. Stationery? Okay, maybe for sending wish you were here letters. But bath salts? Maybe those are because he knows we all need to calm down. Oh, and when I found out the keychain is the same ratio as the ice rink, my immediate reaction was, well, of course it is! Tofuzuru. During Prologue Hachinohe, Yuzu asked that we treat him gently as he has the mental strength of tofu. Yuzu, if you are tofu, you are the most badass tofu that has ever existed. However, immediately following this request, I went and wrapped a block of tofu in a blanket, kissed it on the forehead, and said, "Daijoubu dayo." That's not weird, right? Yuzu's third autobiography. As if we needed further proof that Planet Hanyu has 36-hour days. And with a fourth book coming, 2023 must be a Planet Hanyu leap year. We should all be prepared for what he manages to do with his Groundhog Day. The Yuzu Request hashtag. After years of wondering if Yuzu looked at anything about himself on social media, we have now entered a new Yuzu SNS era. I remember the bomb drop when he offhandedly used the word Twitter during Stars on Ice 2021. Now it's hit me up with music suggestions at this hashtag. Maybe he was just giving us something to distract us while he took a day off. But raise your hand if you think it's doubtful he took any time off at all. Hashtag Yuzu around the world. While everyone was busy photoshopping versions of puffy black jacket Yuzu into their hometowns, I wanted Yuzu to post an actual photo of himself in that same pose and outfit, including the fashion-forward couture thermal bag, in Sendai, to see if we were paying attention. Good news is, Photoshopped Yuzu earned enough ANA frequent flyer miles to cover the Yuzu World Tour Ice Show. Ketsu no Chikara. Yeah, I'm gonna skip that one. Yuzu's Christmas present to the Fanyus. Some Fanyus swoon over Yuzu's abs, others over his Ketsu no Chikara. There are even a few who are particularly enamored with his hair. But the newest addition to my things that send me about Yuzu is the every news footage of Yuzu and his ice rink diagram. Brilliantly done, Yuzu, and completely dark corner worthy. Thank you for adding this to the already beautiful Christmas present you gave us. You might want to send that out as a Christmas card. Surprise ice rink Sendai appearance. Everyone was shocked when Yuzu showed up at a local competition and skated Parisian walkways. Maybe it was the only way he could get on the ice that day, so he just threw on a costume and made it work. There's also the possibility he did that because he's the best human, and he wanted to do something special for his home rink without the fanfare. I think we all know which of those is the real reason. Regardless, I'm still going to need someone to explain to me why he didn't take home the gold medal. That concludes another edition of Hayaku Fanyu, which has clearly become a permanent addition to the FanyuFanme podcast. The notes section is clear now, Yuzu, so feel free to go ahead and give us more exciting surprises. I'm ready.
早い。
Don't worry, I didn't forget about Yuzu's NHK red and white New Year's Eve appearance. I just knew I was going to need more than 30 seconds. Could I write a whole post about that appearance? Absolutely. Is Yuzu going to give me time to do that before no one remembers the NHK red and white appearance? Absolutely not. It was wonderful to have the unique opportunity to watch Yuzu simply enjoy himself. No pressure for scores, no pressure for landings, no pressure to count which color light was the most chosen on the bangles, no pressure to get the question tiles exactly straight on the board, though I could watch him do that all day.
完璧主義が出る。
I think we know that as much fun as he was having, he was also building a wish list for gift. I can just imagine his thought process. I want confetti, a wintry forest, an anime hologram, a foxtail, 128 kendamas, and 3 of those giant phoenixes. We also now know where he can find a frozen lake set. I really just want to be able to say I called it when that actually happens. Yuzu looked as happy as a 5-year-old in the front row of a parade who had just been handed an ice cream cone, a lollipop, a balloon, cotton candy, and a puppy, which I know for a fact is how I look every single time I'm watching Yuzu. You make us extremely happy, Yuzu, so now you know how we feel. Maybe a pack of tissues will be the next thoughtful gift good you release, because when we see you at the Tokyo Dome, we're all going to turn into tofu together. Yuzu has already promised us a brilliant 2023, and FanyuFanme has lots of plans on the frozen lake horizon as well. While you're busy chasing wild Yuzu, feel free to stop by FanyuFanme's rest stop on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Redbubble, YouTube, or FanyuFanme.com, where I will still be watching Yuzu's pre-SEIMEI foot stomps and whispering sweet nothings to Tofu. Until next time, say it with me, Yuzuru Hanyu. The FanyuFanme podcast is a Back to the Forest production.
Back to the forest? Just kidding.